Hey everyone, it's the Career Girl here, packing up finally to go on vacation. I was super excited about being able to finally pack to go do something fun versus for work. So as I started to pack today and started getting everything ready to go into my carry-on, I thought it would be a good time for us to stop and talk about what you need to pack in a carry-on versus what you need to put in your suitcase. When we start talking about our carry-ons, it's everything that you're going to need for the flight or everything that you don't want the airlines to lose. So let's start here with what we affectionately refer to in our house as the pink bag. This is the bag that I carry my prescriptions in that need to remain refrigerated. I do mark it with this luggage tag that says that there's medical equipment inside, and you're going to hear me say over and over again, the more that you can mark your stuff, the better. And when I get to the airport, I put the pink bag as well as all my other medications all in one bin so that they all stay together. And the reason why it's pink is for a very, very specific reason. It's easy to find. I have, last year in fact, I was on a flight from Europe. I'd been in Germany and Austria and was connecting through Atlanta to come home. Cleared customs, got to the TSA checkpoint and had put all of my medications in the bin just like I always do, went through the x-ray machine and was waiting on the other side for my stuff to come through, and the bin came through with my medications, but the pink bag was missing. And after a few minutes I contacted one of the TSA agents. He notified me that it was my fault that the bag was missing, but because it was hot pink I could look across the room and I saw across the room a young couple that were standing there with my pink bag trying to figure out who it belonged to and why they had it. And we eventually discovered that there was a TSA agent on the other side of the machines that was rearranging the bins before he sent them through, which is illegal, but it was happening anyway. But because it was pink, I was able to find it and be reunited with it. And guys, I get that you may not want a hot pink bag. Maybe for the guys you would like a Department of Transportation orange or yellow. Now, inside the bag, I have my freezer packs. And if the freezer packs are frozen, like these are, this bag should not require any additional security screening. However, if your packs have started to defrost, and if you start out in the morning early and spend all day in meetings and get to the airport at 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, these may very well be halfway thawed. The airport security line the airport security folks will probably require additional screening at that time. So just be aware of that. Some of the other things to think about with this is make sure that everything is individually labeled. So these sleeves both have individual prescription labels on them. My pharmacy has a terrible habit of doing this. They will use one label and put it across two sleeves. And if I rip this label in half and traveled with half of a label on this won't fly. The TSA won't let that through. So just be aware, everything needs to be individually labeled. Now, this here is going to be my main carry-on, and then I will also carry this bag tomorrow. And in this bag, I will put any medications that I know I'm going to need to take while I'm actually traveling. So I'm going to put that in this bag. And the reason why I'm splitting these out is I know that this particular suitcase will probably get gate checked on our first flight tomorrow morning. We're going to be flying out on what's called a regional jet or an RJ. And I know that as I get on the airplane, as I'm going down the jet bridge, they're going to stop me, they're going to tag it, and they're going to gate check this bag. And so I will not have access to this bag while I'm on the flight because it's going to be in the cargo hold of the airplane. So anything that I put in here, I don't have access to. So if I put my medicine in here that I need to take while I am traveling, I will not have access to it. So don't put anything in this type of suitcase if you're going to be flying on one of the smaller planes that you're going to need to gate check a suitcase. Now, this particular suitcase is manufactured by a startup company called Away. For like 2 seconds, I was cooler than Jay-Z. It's made out of material that they say is airline proof. The airlines cannot destroy it. It's got a lot of cool features on it, but the one feature I love the most about it is this. Underneath the handle, there's a little door and there's a charging station in there. And so if you travel with medical devices that need to be charged or that you need to plug in to use, this is a great way to do it. A lot of the airport buildings now are getting fairly old and there's not a lot of plugs in them. And some of the airports are starting to put charging stations, but when you go there, everybody is taking a plug and they're charging their cell phones on it. So this is a great way to make sure that you have access to electricity. And it comes with its own charger. This is my cell phone charger, and I love it because I can unplug it and plug other USB devices in it and just charge my suitcase overnight. So just like that. So in fact, I'm going to do that tonight. I'm going to charge the suitcase so I know that when I take off tomorrow morning that the suitcase is fully charged and I will have availability to electricity all day. Now, when you travel, you need to assume that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Do not assume that you're not going to have delays. Do not assume that you're not going to have cancellations. Plan for it, as a matter of fact. I always pack some extra clothing with me just in case I get stuck in a city and I need to have fresh clothes for the next day. So always pack extra clothes in there. You see here I've got my clothes actually rolled up. This does two things. It actually rolling your clothes is much more efficient, gets you a lot more room, plus by rolling your clothes they don't wrinkle. So this way you don't have to try and track down an iron. Again, under the heading of if it can go wrong, it will go wrong, I actually packed 2 pairs of underwear. I was reading a story recently about a woman who struggled with urinary incontinence. And she had gotten up that morning, put on her put on her diaper, and she got on her flight, got to her connecting city, and things went bad from there. And her flights were delayed, and then they were eventually canceled. And in this article, she was really, really upset with the airport because they were not providing her with additional diapers. And I got to tell you, it's not their responsibility to do those types of things. It's your responsibility to pack everything that you're going to need. And I'm sure that was a completely miserable experience for her, but you need to make sure that you always have everything you need should something go wrong. Now, as I mentioned, in my silver bag, I'm going to put the medication that I'm going to need while I'm traveling, but for everything else, the stuff I take only in the morning and night, I'm going to go ahead and put in here. Now, this particular medication, you can see, is a fluid, and so because of that, I've got a prescription label on the baggie as well as a prescription label on the syringes themselves. And all my medications I always put in baggies, so that way the TSA agents can see them. I was going to Washington Dulles one time, and the lady in the lane next to me was having problems with the TSA agent. The guy was questioning her, he kept asking her how many fluid ounces were in this asthma inhaler that her little boy, who was like 7 or 8, was traveling with. And the answer is, it doesn't matter. If it is medication and it has been prescribed to you under the Americans with Disability Act, it can go through airport security. In fact, the airlines say if you pack this in your suitcase and you check it, they're not responsible if it gets lost. So make sure that if you are going to be traveling, you put it in your carry-on. And again, don't worry about fluid ounces or any of the rest of that stuff. As long as it's got a prescription label on it and the label is current, it can go through security. Now, a few other things. For my type of pain, I love heating pads. These things, heating pads really, really help out a lot with a lot of the pain that I experience in my body. And these are one of my favorite things. I buy these by the case. I've got several of them already in the suitcase. I'm going to have some in my silver bag. I keep them in the cars. I keep them in my briefcase. These are disposable heating pads. They go on your clothing. And in fact, I'm wearing one right now. They go on your clothing. They don't go on your skin, but they're good for 12 hours. And as of this filming, these things do not trigger TSA machines. So you can go through the x-ray machines and they cannot see them, so there's no problems wearing this through the security checkpoints. So I love these. Some other things to think about. I wear a TENS unit, and once again, I've got my label on this. I am not going to put my TENS unit on until I clear security tomorrow. And so let's talk about that. This, as you know, is going to be a little metal box. I'm going to wear it on my waistband. I'm going to have wires that come from it that are attached to pads on my skin. To the equipment, it's going to look like a bomb. It's going to look like you've got a suicide bomb strapped to your body. So don't put this on until you clear security. What I do is I clear security, I go to the ladies' room, I go in the handicap stall because I need a little more space, take this out, I put this on, and then I'm good to go. But I never ever wear this going through airport security. Just a few other things. If you wear contacts, take those, put those in your carry-on bag. I always like getting these little starter kits from my eye doctor because the cleaning solution is 2 ounces, so it can travel. A few other little things. These are packages of toilet paper, and I keep these in all of my purses and all the cars. So if I run into a situation where there's not toilet paper in a stall, I have it. This is the wet type of toilet paper, so it can also work for cleanup if you need that. And then finally, if you have a medical device implanted in your body, make sure you take your remote control and make sure it is in your carry-on. Do not pack it in your suitcase because the airline may lose your suitcase and you're going to lose your remote control. Check your batteries and make sure your batteries are good as well before you travel. So that's a quick down and dirty on some things to think about as you're packing for your trip. This is for carry-ons only. We'll talk about what to put in your suitcase in a future video, how to actually work with the TSA agents, when to pre-board, when not to pre-board, what to disclose to airline staff, all that in future videos. But I hope this has helped you today in planning for a future trip and packing for your carry-ons. Until next time, I hope you guys are having a high energy day, a low pain day. I'll talk to you later.